Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which of course means it's time for yet another one of our viewer specials. If this is your first viewer special, and or if you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome, glad to have you. And second of all, let me give you the brief rundown here. Every week on Monday, we take a look at games from you all, the viewers, in order to see your cool games, your awesome builds, and showcase some stuff that I might not normally have time to get to as far as like decks that I build, right? But mostly it's about us coming together as a community and celebrating each other in our cool games. So if you want to get in on this and have your duels featured for the viewer special, you're going to want to head down to the description below. There's an invite link to our Discord server called the Hexlexplex, and in the Master Duel section, there is a channel called Viewer Special Submissions. There you'll want to drop your 9-digit player ID, and then I can view your publicly saved replays that you've submitted. Please make sure that this ID is entered correctly and that the replays are set to public. That way I am able to view your duels. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the rundown. So without further ado, let's start getting into some of your games. Alright, our first game comes to us from Lycon. Lycon has a duel here where they are playing a pure Regenesis deck. Okay, so yeah, I was wondering if I had clicked on the wrong one for a second, but yeah, so by pure it looks like we're not playing a Kashtira package. I do see, though, this is kind of interesting. We have Tour Guide from the Underworld, and our target is Doomdog Ogdoatic. In this card from the field to the graveyard, add a level 8 Fiend monster from deck to hand. Like the Regenesis Archfiend, I imagine. Okay, that makes sense. Interesting. Yeah, I'm very eager to see this play out. Because I think every single Regenesis build I've seen so far has been with the Kashtira package. So, very eager to see how you have put this deck together. Looks like we're going to be going second against Blue Eyes here, and at 8 turns, this should be a pretty back and forth game, so let's go ahead and check this out and see what you got for us. Yeah, Regenesis is one of those decks where, like, I think I'm actually still hanging on to a few of the URs just in case I do decide to go into it, like build it, but haven't taken the plunge just yet. Okay, so we're taking the second turn. Thankfully, it looks like our opponent doesn't have too good of a hand here. They just set 2 and pass, although we do have the Nib. Nib is pretty good against Blue Eyes, you know, as far as like ending their turn. I'm going to start with normal summon Tour Guide, and then that gets hit by the Effect Veiler. I'm curious to see how we utilize the Tour Guide here, because we don't play any rank 3s. And yeah, it negates the effect of what it summons, so yeah, we're going for the Regenesis. They're going to chain Maxi, which isn't a huge deal, I think, for us even on an average turn, right? Because we don't special summon that much, and also we can choose to simply add the monster or send it to the graveyard. Okay, this isn't special summon at all. I get it. Okay. Alright, looks like our opponent found Maiden in White, going for the True Light here, setting the Wishes for Eyes of Blue from deck. Wishes F gonna flip up here, discarding the extra Effect Veiler in hand in order to add Roar of the Blue-Eyed, as well as Sage with Eyes of Blue. They're gonna normal summon the Sage here, adding themselves another copy of Effect Veiler. I really appreciate that we did not use Effect Veiler on Sage, as I definitely agree that there are better targets within the Blue Eyes combo line. I usually use it on Spirits, but there are definitely other things you can use it on as well. Alright, there's the Mausoleum, which is going to send the Blue Eyes from deck to graveyard. Spirit F to revive. And then Maiden revives herself as well. Alright, we're just within Nib range here. Letting them go into the Spirit first, which I think is actually a really good call, because it doesn't really matter if they have Spirit up when you Nibiru them, because even if they chain the Spirit, the Nibiru will still immediately tribute whatever they summoned. Even if it has a negate effect, they won't get the chance to use it. So, alright, by revealing the Sage, we can special summon the Regenesis Archfiend. We're going to use Dominus Purge to negate the search effect, but now that we've got our 2,500 attack bodies on the board, now we can finally start, really going into our Regenesis gameplay loop here and showing off just how good of a control deck it is. I also really like the Kaiju here, because we're specifically playing the one with 2,400 attack, which means we can always battle over it. That's good. And it's also got 2,500 defense, right? And these care about 2,500 attack or defense, so that's cool. Wow, they're going straight to battle, using the blue ice to battle over the Sage. Although I guess that makes sense, because the Sage... Hang on. Is this the one that bounces? Oh, it negates. Okay, either way, it definitely makes sense why they would want to battle over Sage before going into their, you know, combo here. Gonna make their second blue ice spirit. And another level 9 Sequel. Will this be the third copy? It is. Wow, they're on 3. Alright, looks like they're using Blue Ice Spirit Dragon to go into Ultimate Spirit Dragon, and then this is gonna be Sifir, right? I imagine. Well, Crimson Dragon for Sifir. Ooh, but we got the Veiler on the Crimson Dragon. Okay, they have a call by. I was gonna say that's really brutal for them if that resolves, because it means they'll lose both of their monsters during the end phase. Of course, whatever summoned off of Spirit Dragon will go to the graveyard. Or be destroyed, rather, but if you have the Sifir up, the Stardust Dragon Divine Sifir, then that'll stop it from being destroyed. Alright, during the end phase, we get our Regenesis Sage back. Yep, there goes the Sifir protecting their stuff. And we're drawing for a turn here. Alright, so they have the Spirit Dragon, and the Sifir can also have a monster negate, which is a little bit scary, but like I said, we've already gotten our Regenesis gameplay loop online, so we're going to go for the number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, and then immediately overlay on top of it in order to make Full Armor Photon Dragon, which is strong enough to battle into... Oh, and then that lets us go into Zeus, yep. Got Zeus for the board wipe. If they go to negate, we can use Sifir negate, or not Sifir, we can use Regenesis Sage's negate. Yeah, here we go. Or not, maybe? Did I misread this? You have to send another Regenesis card, not just a Regenesis card. I see, that makes sense. So unfortunately, it looks like our Zeus was not able to resolve. We can use Regenesis from our graveyard, bringing back the Regenesis Archfiend, and then adding Regenesis Warrior. This, I think, is the one that bounces. Yes, okay. So now we can bounce the Sifir back to our opponent's extra deck, and then we're going to overlay on top of the Nibiru, which of course is going to be Typhone. Yeah, Lycon mentioned in their descriptor for this game about how Typhone won them this duel. Typhone was a huge game changer here. Although I will argue that you've definitely been keeping up the gameplay loop, you know, very well here. That's the most important part of any control deck, is maintaining your resource loop, right? Which in our case is just cycling our Regenesis monsters to be able to special summon our Archfiend and keep adding more Regenesis cards over and over again. Wow, Sage negates and destroys. That's really good. Yeah, on top of Ash Blossoming their wishes, that's definitely going to be the end for their turn there. Of course, we get the Regenesis Archfiend right back to our hand. Yep, and that's going to be all she wrote. Very nice. That was very good stuff. That was a great example of showing just how Regenesis plays, you know, even without the support of another engine like Kashtira. Still very well, still very much a control deck to be feared, for sure. Thank you for that game, Lycon. We still got time for a couple more, of course, so let's go into the next one. Okay, next duel comes to us from Jackson Bird. Jackson Bird has got quite the pile deck for us here. We are going to be on White Forest, Mitsurugi, Beansmith, but also with Runic as well. Very eager to see this play out, because I was actually thinking of trying a White Forest Mitsurugi build after watching Moha's video on it, but Moha definitely was not also rocking the Runic engine, but the Runic engine makes a ton of sense here. I can definitely see how it would play very, very well with the White Forest package. And our opponent is going to be on classic Mitsurugi Ryzeal. Alright, let's jump right on into it. Alright, we're taking the first turn, so I'm very eager to see what the turn 1 combo line looks like. Of course, with a deck like this, it is going to hugely depend on what your opening hand looks like, but it's kind of wild how if you open like just Habakiri, you can bridge into like every one of your deck's engines for the most part. Here it looks like we got just a ton of White Forest stuff. They're going to max C in response to our Stellar, which is certainly not ideal. But then they're also going to Imperm in response to the Stellar effect? I mean, I guess I understand it. I could see a situation where if the opponent's hand is already really good, they would want to throw out Max C right off the bat, but then still Imperm a Stellar. It's still a little bit weird, though. Either way, setting woes is pretty good here. It gives us access to our Silvera during our opponent's turn, which is the one that flips everything face down. So that alone should set us up hopefully pretty nicely here. Looks like we're also going to go for our Azamina engine with the Diabell Star, making an Ilia Sylvia. Basically giving them one more draw, but getting an Omni Negate on our board as well, which is a pretty fair trade-off, I think. So, alright, opponent's going into their turn 1. They're going to start by normal summoning the Ice Ryzeal, special summoning Sword. Sword Ryzeal F going to activate. We're chaining Woes, which this is, I imagine, to try to flip their board down. They're going to respond in kind with an Ash Blossom, and we are going to use an Ilia Sylvia in response, which I do like that, because we really need this Woes to resolve. If this Woes doesn't resolve, we are probably just going to lose. Now, unfortunately, depending on what they add, they'll probably still be able to make plays here, but let's just see what they do. Okay, yep, there's X'd. Alright, now Silvera activates. That's going to flip their 2 level 4 monsters face down. X can still special summon itself by sending the Aggregator here, but we definitely do cut them off from 2 of their level 4 bodies, which is really good. And it's like, it sucks, right? Because our opponent knows we have Woes face down. It's not like we can try to wait for them to special summon X Ryzeal and flip that down as well. Okay, looks like our opponent's going for Duo Drive. Adding Cross and Sword is a little bit of a weird add considering they already special summoned it, although I guess they're going to normal summon. Send one of the face downs for Ice Ryzeal, and then make a Detonator. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, so we do have to deal with the Ryzeal setup, but we're not going to get OTK'd this turn. I was kind of expecting... Oh, hang on a second. Maybe, hang on. I might have spoken a little bit too soon. Here's the Mitsurugi Prayers. They're going to pivot into their next engine here. Oh, and they can even revive the Aramasa. That's really good. Oh, probably because they tributed it, right? For the effect. Wow, Yeah, I'm very interested to see how this duel's going to pan out, because I don't know how we're going to survive this off the top of my head. Unless Silvera has, like, some effect that I'm forgetting about. Like when it's destroyed or something. I guess we can, yeah, Diabell Star revive. I mean, it's not like our opponent has lethal on board anyway, even through our monsters, right? Yeah, they still only have not even 8,000 damage yet. Although, granted, they are definitely not done comboing. Well, and the Murakumo... So the Murakumo will come down and negate or not, I guess? Or not negate, destroy, but... From your deck, from your hand. Interesting. Okay. So they're going to destroy the Diabell Star and then use the Ryzeal Cross to negate it, actually. Getting smacked with the Hobbycuries. Barely hanging on with 1,100 life points left. Opponent's going to main phase 2, activate 7th Tachyon. We also get to use the effect of Sylvie, putting back our Silvera to special summon, which will get us a search as well. We definitely need, like, as many cards as we can get access to. Oh, we don't get a search, right? It negates itself. Never mind. I was gonna say, we need as many, like, starters as we can get access to, because this Detonator's threatening to pop our whole board here. Popping the Silvera, Aggregator, negating the... what is this card called? Deception. We're still able to add back Howard Azamina, go for Wanted, send the Deception for Diabell Star. Diabell Star F gonna activate. They're gonna chain the Cross, which I think was not wise for them. I think they would have definitely rather had the pop here. Although I guess they're gonna use Prayers and try to still... Well, no, because they haven't Ritual Summoned Murakumo at all, right? So... Yeah, they don't have access to it, like, period. We drew Runic Tip, wow. Alright, so that's going to get us our Smiting Storm. Going to activate the Smiting Storm here in order to special summon Hugin. Hugin F for the Fountain, as we're pivoting completely into our Runic engine now. Oh, and then that also revives a Stellar, because we send a Spell or Trap card for the Hugin F. So that's a way in which the Runic and the White Forest lines can actually kind of bridge into one another. Which I always think is the coolest part about pile decks, right? Like, it's always fun when one engine goes into another, but when the other engines can also, like, when they can do that back and forth, I think that's when you're really cooking. And Mitsurugi is really, really good at doing that. Like I mentioned at the top of the video, you know, open Habakiri for just about any variant of Mitsurugi is like full combo. Not just for the Mitsurugi cards, but also for whatever else your deck is doing as well. Alright, we've got the Baron de Fleur online, although between the two Habakiris here, it's looking pretty rough as far as our monsters actually being able to battle over stuff. Now we're overlaying for a rank 4, and this is going to be King of the Feral Imps. I almost forgot we were on Mitsurugi ourselves, but this let us pivot into that engine here. We're going to go King of the Feral Imps for the Habakiri. Now that we have access to Habakiri, we should have access to Murakumo, which should be able to wipe our opponent's board and secure us lethal here. I imagine that's how we're about to win this duel. Yeah, because our Habakiri, or our monsters can't battle over theirs again because of the two Habakiris. The attack drop effect doesn't seem significant, but when there's two of them and everything's losing 1600 attack, all of a sudden it does become a lot scarier. We even still can do Fiendsmith stuff. That's insane. That's actual insanity. Alright, there's the Murakumo. Murakumo board wipe, and then Habakiri revive. I almost called that just Mitsurugi, as if that were the monster's name. Alright, and then we're still gonna go into Fiendsmith stuff. Dang. I'll fast forward a little bit here, just because we're styling a little bit at this point, but I mean, they still have cards in hand. It's like, you know, that's always the debate. Like, do you finish your opponent off right away, or do you keep playing, try to get more negates on board? I don't fault anybody for trying to get more negates on board when there's still, like, unknown factors, right? Like, your opponent has, like, cards in hand, you don't know what they are. Because people do play Battle Fader. Oh, also, we skipped our Battle Phase, that's right. But they're just going to concede anyway. Yeah, people do play Battle Fader, like, even in, like, Diamond rank. I've seen it before, so. But, wow, that was really good. That was awesome. Thank you very much, Jackson Bird, for that replay. We have time for one more, so let's go into that last one here. And our final duel comes to us from Super Dark Aqua, who's got a Mitsurugi variant that I've seen around, but I have not had any personal experience with. That's going to be Ogdoatic, the not original reptile archetype, but one of the more recent ones, you know, before Mitsurugi. And yeah, I mean, these care about being in the graveyard. They're reptiles. Most of them are like level 4 or 8, I believe. Yeah, so it definitely makes sense why these would be a pretty natural fit together. And of course, we also get to play the ultimate potential card of Snake Rain. All right, looks like our opponent is going to be on Ryzeal. Specifically, they are going to be on Magistus Ryzeal. All right, let's go ahead and dive right on into this duel here. Going second game, so yeah, I know like nothing about the Ogdoatic archetype as far as like what it's trying to do. I mean, I know vaguely that they want to be sent to the graveyard. There's dark and light, and they care about their opposite attributes. But as far as like what your Ogdoatic end board looks like, I'm completely clueless. So, oof, they opened with the Spenta. And we don't have any hand traps, so in theory, our opponent should be going like full combo here, including the Ouroboros hand rip. So let's see how many of those they end up doing. Alright, so they're going for the Duo Drive right off the bat. I think that, it's actually been a minute since I've played Magistus Ryzeal. I don't think I've actually played it since the Mitsurugi pack came out, so I'm trying to remember exactly how the line goes. I thought the first 6 Cs you went into... No, that's right. I think that is right, Duo Drive. I thought it was Banshee for some reason for a second. I think Banshee's the second one? Or the second one... Yeah, right? No, okay, they're just not making Ouroboros at all. Okay. I mean, you don't need Ouroboros to be playing Magistus Ryzeal. It is really good, but it's not required. Interesting, they're going to make Dugaris here. Discarding Sword Ryzeal, drawing another card off the cross. Set 1 and then pass. Okay. Okay, we found our Amasa, starting with the Snake Rain, sending 4. That's gonna let us summon the Night Sword Serpent. Then we can activate this, sending a light reptile from deck to graveyard. Okay, what was that effect? Hang on, let me see this real quick. It says if a monster is sent from hand or deck to the graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, special summon. Turn the monster to your graveyard except this one's... Okay, I see. So, it's all about... That makes sense, reviving from the graveyard, right? Okay, tribute to revive, when it's special summon, target level 4 Ogdoatic special summon, but that's going to get hit with the effect Veiler. But that does also make our triple attack live, which we are going to use right off the bat. They're going to pop their own detonator in response. Hopefully their face down card isn't plug-in. Let's see. Okay. Aaron special summons itself by tributing to. Nunu revives. Normal summon the Aramasa. And they're just going to concede. No, I wanted to see more Ogdoatic stuff. Rip, rip. What I was going to say, too, when I thought our opponent was going to summon Ouroboros, is that depending on what they hand rip, it's not even, might not even be that big of a deal, right? Because we want so many of our Ogdoatic cards in the graveyard. But I feel like this opponent could have given us a lot more as far as, like, showing what Magistus Ryzeal can do and letting us play out our deck as well. But that was still a very solid game. Thank you very much for the submission. Not only to you, Super Dark Aqua, but to everybody who submitted. As always, we could not do this series without you. So thank you, viewers, for your submissions. But that's going to do it for now. Let us move on to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.